Hello everyone, good morning and welcome back to Sports Today. We bring you this video segment every single morning to help you catch up with things that you might have missed out on whilst you were catching up on some all-important rest, because let's face it, whilst you and I need sleep, the whole world needs sleep, the world of sport doesn't really sleep. There's always something or the other going on, but worry not, to help you catch up with those things, that's what we're here for. So let's start off quickly. In news number one, there's been a lot of chatter around Devdutt Padikkal and the very good domestic List A numbers that he has, and that chatter grew louder, especially considering that the Vijay Hazare Trophy was ongoing, and also the fact that India would be naming a squad for the New Zealand series. But obviously, given the competition, DDP didn't end up making it into the side, and now he's broken his silence and said that no, I had my eyes on the selection but wasn't really expecting anything given the competition. He's also said that look, patience is a bit of a virtue when it comes to these things. You just have to wait for the right moment and take the chance when it comes, which is a great outlook to have, really, especially if you consider some of the numbers he's got. He's averaging over 80 in domestic List A cricket, and he's got a very good conversion rate of 50s to 100. So a very good player who, in this particular format, who's not quite gotten the chance because again, that opening quite hasn't turned up as of yet. But as he said, he's being patient and just waiting for that chance. One player who a lot of people were surprised got snubbed was Ruturaj Gaikwad, especially when you consider the fact that he was not only part of the ODI side against South Africa, but he also got 100 against them. Now, obviously, the logic that can be given is that he was basically a backup for Shreyas Iyer, and now with Iyer back, there's no need for a Gaikwad, but it is something that has left a lot of people surprised, including former India cricketer Robin Uthappa, who said that it was a bit of a shocking decision, and more importantly, that if you don't come from one of the big three parts, or like Delhi, Mumbai and Punjab, saying then you have to keep fighting and keep trying to do your best to make it into the side. It's an interesting argument and an interesting point he made, but not sure how true that is considering just how big the competition is for a lot of these guys. Gaikwad sure can get a better run, but where exactly do you play him? In place of whom? Should he be part of the squad? Sure. But there's no guarantee he'll be in the 11 either which way. There's also been less chatter recently about Gautam Gambhir and his future, given that the BCCI have publicly come out and backed him. And another person who's now done that is his former teammate and ex-India cricketer Harbhajan Singh, who said that look, it's very easy to criticize the coach when things aren't going well, but when things are going good, then the coach gets no credit whatsoever. And he also said that look, if you want to try a split coaching kind of a thing, it's okay to go that way, but first give the person a little bit of time. That part I found interesting, considering Gambhir has been in charge of the test team now for over a year and has largely overseen some pretty poor results. But okay, I can understand where it is that Harbhajan is coming from as well. Switching focus to international cricket now, and the last Ashes test of the series saw Ben Stokes' body finally give up on him. He ended up suffering a bit of a groin injury and was under assessment for a right adductor complaint, according to a statement that was put out by the England and Wales Cricket Board. Obviously, he will come out to bat if the team needs him, but it does seem like the major workload that he took on, playing 5 tests on the trot over a very long series, has finally caught up with him. Two people who will not be that concerned about workload management during the T20 World Cup are New Zealand bowlers Matt Henry and Lockie Ferguson. Why did I say that? Well, it turns out both of their partners are set to give birth during the T20 World Cup, so it could be a case that both of them will be missing out at least a small part of the T20 World Cup as they fly back home to be with their partners. Obviously, it's a great thing and it's very good of New Zealand as well to be giving them the paternity leave in the middle of the tournament, because it's not just one player, it's 2 players, and especially when you also consider that New Zealand have named a number of players who are coming off the back of injuries, with by the way, Matt Henry and Lockie Ferguson being 2 of them whose fitness will be touch and go heading into the World Cup. Switching focus now from the world of cricket to sports beyond that, Nottingham Forest registered a massive win in the Premier League last night when they beat West Ham United 2-1. Why is it a massive win for them? Because, well, both teams are set in a bit of a relegation battle, but for Forest getting this win over West Ham means that Forest's situation is now better, and West Ham, well, their situation just continues to look dire. If there's one team at this point in time who are dead certain for the drop zone, it's Wolves. Wolverhampton Wanderers look all but certain to be dropping down into the championship. But West Ham seemed like the next team who it seems like the ship is just not going to be turned around at all. And that insult to injury, by the way, West Ham are currently managed by Nuno Espirito Santo, the same man who took Nottingham Forest to pretty big heights last season. Football can really be a very cruel world sometimes. Now, the manager whose future has been largely uncertain is Crystal Palace's Oliver Glasner, the same Glasner who led them to their first ever trophy in history when they won the FA Cup last season. Could potentially be set to run down his contract because his contract ends at the end of the season and then join another club. Manchester United are one of the teams who are reportedly interested in him. He's now said that he'll know for sure in the next couple of weeks whether or not he will sign a contract. Now, that just seems like he's being a little non-committal, or maybe he's waiting for better terms or more control over transfers, because Palace, again, are a little bit of a frugal side at times and will not always invest. Having already won a trophy, he'd want that the owners invest and they do more, but it's not a guarantee that they'll do that, which means he may very well end up walking. He also dropped another bit of interesting news regarding club captain Marc Guehi and said that Guehi, if the threshold is met as far as any club being willing to put out a big amount of money for him, Guehi may very well be sold. This is doubly interesting when you remember that Guehi was about to leave Crystal Palace in the summer. He was about to join Liverpool on deadline day, but Glasner put his foot down at the last minute and said that if you sell Guehi, I walk. That led to Palace to pull the deal. It fell through. Glasner stayed on, Guehi stayed on, but Guehi, you also have to remember, is a free agent and could very well just sit tight and say no. His contract runs out in 6 months. He'll be a free agent then. He'll have his pick of clubs, and more importantly, will also get a very big signing on bonus. So I don't really know if he'll be sold or not. Personally, if I was in Guehi's position, I'd sit tight and take the big wad of cash that'll come my way as being a free agent. Couple more bits of news from the world of sport in general. Indian tennis player Dakhineshwar Suresh won his opening round match in the Bengaluru Open, beating Croatia's Duje Ajdokovic or Duje Ajdokovic. Now, Ajdokovic is someone who was ranked much better than Dakhineshwar, although the ranking comparison is relative, considering that the Croatian is in the 300s, whereas Dakhineshwar is in the 500s, but it didn't stop Dakhineshwar from registering a straight sets victory, and one hopes he can have a good run in the Bengaluru Open ATP Challenger 125. Again, Indian tennis does need a little bit of positivity. There's not been as much as you'd expect in recent times, and I think a new singles player coming up would be great for the country. Speaking of tennis news, those competing in the Australian Open of 2026 will be set for a massive boost to their prize money. Why? Because the prize pool is up by 60% and currently stands at around 111 Australian dollars, which would translate to about 75 million US dollars. That's the prize pool. And the fact that it continues to goes up shows really that the health of tennis in the country continues to be great. And it's true really for all tournaments, where every single year you see the prize pool go up exponentially. But that's it from us on this edition of the Morning Wrap. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, if you enjoy our work, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, X, and Facebook. And stay tuned for more such updates throughout the day from the world of sport. World of sport.